make you look stupid. I'm throwing my wife up here. I hope she don't get mad at me for putting the picture. But I'm sitting there like, you think that this lady married me because she ain't got no options? You don't think that she goes whenever she went to California or wherever that these white men and Italian men and Asian men and all kinds of men wasn't trying to hit on her? Get out of here, man. Yeah, as a black man, you are the prize. I think we are the prize. The black woman is the prize too, because there are Italian men who can appreciate those fine curves and that nice, delicious booty. When I see black children that are headed for the street, I become instant daddy. I step up. Yeah, if that makes me the simp, they call me the simp of the year. Because
Boyce Watkins responds to Corey Holcomb. I told him not to do it. I told him. You ever have that friend that just won't leave well enough alone? That's Boyce. If I knew better, I would do better. As much as he tells us about finance and everything else, man, this man is gotta be, I don't even know. Just let this be it, boys. Just leave it alone right here. Don't do nothing else. Nothing else. And this is a long video. Somebody in my comments mentioned on the last Boyce Watkins video versus when Corey Holcomb was talking about Boyce, that Boyce has a tendency of stating his topic as one thing and then rambling for an hour and never actually hitting the topic that he said he was going to discuss. Is that the case? If you just gonna ramble, it was almost 2 hours on this, and he barely touched on the video. But the man is an interesting, to say the least. And you know how when somebody roasts you and they're getting after you, you start putting up a defense? That's what happened here with Boyce Watkins. He was now defending his marriage. His wife was like, "What? I'm not even thinking about that." But he was like, "No, I've got to go online and defend myself." You're just making it worse. But like we said in the last video, Boyce is out for clout. Don't get it wrong. Just because he's over 50 does not make him not a clout demon. So he wants the clout. Hear him out.
But today's topic is too much fun for me to walk away from it. Every now and then I say, you know what, let me go ahead and have conversations. I don't back away from any debate. I can debate with scholars. I can debate with people from the street. I can debate with everything in between. And also, more importantly, with these debates, I can also acknowledge areas where I might be incorrect, or areas where I can grow, or areas where where I learned something. So interesting conversation. It involves this comedian by the name of Corey Holcomb. You guys may not know Corey Holcomb, but Corey Holcomb is really damn funny. He's a very good comedian, actually. He's a little on the ratchet side, and he also, from a character standpoint, he has some things I think that he should work on, and I'm going to address some of that.
Even in his assessment here, he's still giving backhanded compliments. Well, hey, if that's how you want to handle it, Boyce, have at it. I told you not to mess with a comedian, though. I told you that. Let the record show.
Address this topic kind of directly because I think a lot of people felt that maybe it's beneath me, or that I'm not going to talk about it, and I'll really talk about almost anything. Like there's not a lot that I won't address, especially if it connects to some sort of core issue in the Black community.
And shout out to the Do Better podcast with Theo Coop. For some reason, Boyce could not read that. It's right there, big as day on the screen. And he kept getting his name wrong. For now doing this reaction of a reaction to a reaction. You gotta love it.
Show me this video. Y'all see this shit? You ain't even gotta say shit first. Can the people see that? Do you see her hesitation? First of all, this is a lady he known for a long time. I said lady. I do not know this lady. I have nothing against her. I just only understand her hesitation is obvious in the video. Look how she looking. Look how she looking.
Okay, so let me pause it right there. My wife and we did talk about that, and I said people think that based on.
Hold up. So now he's admitting that him and his wife had a conversation about the Corey Holcomb roast of their proposal. You gotta be kidding me, man. That's ridiculous. Hey, man, Boyce, I'll be honest, man. Don't let this internet stuff mess up your marriage. Don't let Corey Holcomb mess up your little situation you got going on there, man. He like, can you believe this? Can you believe they did a reaction video to it? Oh man.
On how you were standing, they speculate that you did not want to marry me, and she was kind of surprised by that. And it actually, if you watch the video, the full video of the proposal is online, and you can see the first thing she does when I give her the ring is she puts it on her finger, right? So her disposition was really shock and surprise. I had spent the whole
Hey, everybody who saw it said, even Darlene in the reaction was like, yo, she didn't seem as excited as she could be. That's the only thing, boys. That's the only thing. And he's real critical of the guys that reviewed the video, but a woman was in presence and she said the exact same thing. So, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Whole day, just so y'all know what happened that day. I spent the whole day planning to propose to her exactly where we met when I was 22 years old. And so we went for a run, and I said, hey, let's go visit the old place, the cafeteria where I met you, when I was in grad school. And so we went there, and that's when I made the proposal to her. I handed my camera to this brother that was standing nearby. He didn't know he was going to be filming the proposal. And that was my way of kind of surprising her. I was real nervous. I was nervous all day that I was going to lose the ring, that I was going to do it wrong or whatever. One thing I was not nervous about, one thing I was not worried about at all was her saying no. And this is a little tip for anybody that ever proposes marriage to somebody, especially when other people are around. Never, ever propose. Don't really ask any significant question. Never ask that question unless you know the answer. Don't do that. Don't leave it up to chance. So in that situation, we kind of just thought it was hilarious that there were people who thought that somehow she was hesitant or didn't want to marry me because, number one, if she didn't want to marry me, I would have known that and I would never have proposed. Or two, she would have just said no.
That's my new thing, the silent reaction.
She's able to say no to things she does not want to do. And so, the speculation, I know some of you may have seen the speculation, some of you may not, but I think hearing it from me and hearing exactly what actually happened will be better than hearing like gossip on the internet from people who've never met me or never had a conversation with me. I find that all very, very strange. It's a lot of times I got to pretend like I'm taking the high ground and ignore everything, but I don't want to do that. I respect these guys. I want to have this conversation, and I'm explaining to you why it's important to have this conversation. You got to address the niggerosity. You have to address the niggerosity in your community. You can't just act like it's not there. There's this weird thing, and this was why I had a challenge with Kevin Samuels. I like Kevin Samuels, and I said, look, man, I hate the idea that because Kevin supported me. Kevin did a whole video about me.
Put in the chat if you saw that video and you think what BOYCE is saying is accurate. I don't know why he's bringing Kevin Samuels into this, but all of a sudden Kevin Samuels is on his mind now that he's getting roasted. Stick on the topic, BOYCE. We told you.
And he was actually supportive when he did the video, so I felt kind of bad. But I said I got to tell the truth.
No, he was hating on Kevin Samuels, and Kevin Samuels caught wind of it. That's what it really was. And Kevin Samuels did a video on him and took a higher road. He did.
Acting like black children are a goddamn nuisance. Stop acting like black children are some sort of liability that gets in the way for you getting more vagina. Like, seriously, that's, I'll show up and I'll sleep with the girl, but I don't want nothing to do with them monkey ass little children. These fucking goddamn kids getting in my way. I can't get no pussy and smoke my weed and get my liquor and my women cause these little niggas are getting in the way. I hate that.
What was that? Was that an Uncle Ruckus impersonation? This is what he thinks of black men outside of his immediate circle. He thinks that you all want to get high, you all want to avoid the kids so you can get all the drink a bunch of liquor. That's what he thinks of you. And that's a sad state of affairs. I mentioned that in the other video. For some reason, Dr. Boyce Watkins has some type of elitist attitude based on his education level, because at some point in this video, he talks about coming from poverty. But for some reason, he can't see anything in black men other than they want to get high and drink liquor, and that is their major motivation for why they're saying that they don't necessarily want his situation and potentially being a cleanup man. I don't know why he wants to minimize it to, people talking trash about him and being chatty patties when you are so condescending to the men of your own community.
I absolutely hate it. I think it is the most embarrassing, pathetic, and ridiculous behavior that a black man can have. Look, man, if you don't want to date a woman with kids, don't do it. And so I'm going to throw myself on the cross and be the guy who does that. I'm going to be the guy who just says, you know, yeah, okay, let's have this conversation.
But as I said, in the past, BOYCE has had issues with other content creators on the platform. Tariq Nasheed comes to mind, Yvette Carnell, Michi X, several other people, I think Cynthia G, all these people that he had issues with online. So he's not a stranger to
this. There are
this.
other communities where they totally get it. If I was Jewish, there'd be no controversy. Like, okay, Mazel Tov, Dr. Watkins, this is what we do in our community, right? If I'm Asian, they're like, oh, that's so great. You know, you're a great you're a proud Chinese man. But you get to the black community, it's like, oh, that nigga wasted his time with the damn kids. He a simp. Wait, why you care about the black community? Why are you caring about children? Like, you know, and it's weird to me, right? So sometimes it's important for us, and you know, and everybody ain't gonna get it. I know that there's gonna be a lot of chatty patty gossip and all that on the internet, and that's fine. People can do that. That's, you know, they're talking about me. I want them to talk about me. That's good.
And that's the real reason for all this conversation right now, isn't it? BOYCE wants people talking about him. That's what it sounds like.
You gotta stand up, man. You gotta say something. You can't let somebody, because they're cool or they're popular, sort of drive your community right off a cliff. Because there ain't nothing about any of the value systems that are being promoted by some of these really popular men. I'm not dissing Corey. This is not. I want to. And if he wants to call me, I'll talk to him on the phone. I'm not scared. There's not a single person I've ever critiqued on this platform that I would not have a direct one-on-one conversation with. And Corey, one thing Corey's 100% correct about is that sometimes my mouth gets me caught up in some shit, right? When I was a little boy, my mother used to say, boy, your mouth will either make you great or get you killed. I'm curious to see which one. And Cornel West, when I told him what my mother said, he said, it might be both. It might be both. And I said, yeah, because if I see something, I just can't help it. I got to say something.
Because, yeah, there wouldn't have even been a conversation. BOYCE would have had no issues with Corey Holcomb. He wouldn't have to be doing this explainer video, basically, if he had just not typed that comment in Willie D's chat, if he had not responded to Corey Holcomb on his Instagram where he went off on a paragraph. Because I didn't even cover that in the last video, but he really went in, and I saw it and I meant to grab it. This is why Corey gave him a response. Corey Holcomb is an example of the fact that black people have been fooled into thinking that losers are winners. He's a man who said he wishes death on the mother of his child. He is also a comedian, which unfortunately makes him a clown. He straight up called him a clown in it. Yeah, you see why Corey responded. The world loves to see the black man as a little boy, a little girl, a criminal, or a clown. What they do not want to see is the black man as intelligent or loving our women. I share this clip because I'm tired of us seeing ourselves as... This is before he got his teeth fixed, right? I share this clip because I'm tired of seeing ourselves as N-words, and it's time for us to start seeing ourselves as men. I am very proud to love a black woman in public because we have too many rascally Negroes who've grown comfortable disrespecting black women as a collective. Come on, boys. That's what you think is going on here? And proudly running into the arms of women who embarrass us, harm us, steal our money, and destroy us. Black men over the age of 32 have no excuse. And you know, that brings up an interesting point that I'm going to touch on. BOYCE is now a divester. Right after this. Black men over the age of 32 have no excuse. If you always look at yourself as ignorant, backward, lacking, and as a child, you will forever be sincerely, Dr. BOYCE Watkins. The first comment. Now, boys, I rock with your content, but that proposal was definitely cringy to watch. He's speaking the truth. You were waiting on her to say yes and even had to tell her to say it. This has nothing to do with black men loving black women. Right. Stop flipping the narrative on an embarrassing proposal video you put out into the world. I think he just dropped the mic right there. His own comments got exactly what the real issue is here. And she definitely, she telling you, yeah, honey, I really wanted the ring. I did. I absolutely wanted to marry you. She's definitely trying to protect your feelings. So yeah, but that makes sense on why Corey responded. But like as I said, Dr. BOYCE has become a divester, apparently. This gets crazier and crazier.
So how did we get so deformed as a community? A black man, that there are men who would believe that a man is a clown for getting on his knee and proposing to a black woman. I mean, you know, I'm not a fan of all the all the women that have just kind of divested from the black community, who just feel like, black men are not as good as other men and they're marrying, people like Prince Harry and stuff. I think we should stick with our people. I really do. Think about this. The black woman is not honored in our community by some of the men. I thought that getting on your knee to propose was what you were supposed to do if you really love a woman.
Wow, because if you remember correctly, that's exactly what Corey Holcomb said he was going to do. He was going to try to turn the black community on Corey Holcomb, in particular black women. This is the tactic that he's using. That's what I'm saying. It's very manipulative, and he needs to really evaluate how he's moving, because like I said, you're alienating men by the day. So if you want to continue with the preacher hustle of, let me keep the women in line and I'll be able to make money that way, you're in for a rude awakening. Stop playing these racial identity and gender games. When men have criticisms that are valid of the women, their counterpart, you can't devalue them and call them less of a man because they want to speak about them. That's the simple point here. You can't flip the community on its head because you feel like you have some type of leverage with the women. That's why people are calling him a simp. Not for getting on your knee and proposing to your wife. That's where you got it twisted.
Now I'm not on my knee for a stripper. I'm not getting on one knee for a prostitute. I'm not getting on one knee for a one-night stand. I'm getting on one knee for the first time in my life because I wanted to communicate to this woman that you are so special, you are so significant, that I want the whole world to know. The fact that me getting on one knee, and because he talks about facial expressions. Her facial expression was like surprise, shock, right? Again, if you watch the video carefully, you'll see as soon as I gave her the ring, she slides it right on her finger. Again, a small little tip: never propose if you don't know the answer in advance. I knew exactly what the answer was going to be before I did that. You never put yourself out there if you don't know what the lady's going to say. Every day I think she's gorgeous, and she works out.
Now this is where he decided to get a little animated.
Because their friends are telling them, oh, you love a woman, if you honor a woman, if you get on your knee for a woman, you a simp. There is no other community. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm talking about. There is no other community where men are called simps because they love a black woman, because they love their woman, period. That makes you look crazy and stupid. In fact, there are white guys marrying black women now. I saw a video today, I kid you not, of a white guy who married a black woman with black children. And in this video, the white guy was clowning black men and saying, you think I can't raise black boys? I raise them better than y'all do. You think I can't love a black woman? I love the woman better than you ever will. And then his black wife comes along and says, you call me a bed wench because I want a man that loves me and my kids? You. Like, they didn't say it like that, but they literally did a thing where they were cocking a gun, like shooting the gun, to say screw you. So I'm just sitting here trying to tell you, this is my appeal to any self-respecting black person listening to this video. You should not on any level endorse the idea of men consistently walking around and claiming that loving their women makes them somehow pathetic. What, am I supposed to be like you, sitting around getting high and drunk all day, throwing away my money with kids that hate my guts with 1,000 STDs and a shitty life? Is that what you want for me?
I think that's about enough of that. But so, in addition to Boyce being now a divester, this is what he really thinks about black men. Every black man but himself, apparently. It really doesn't make any sense. I don't know what this angle is he's trying to push here with his circumstances, with his lady. Like, you love your lady, that's fine, man. You don't have to prove it to everybody. And you definitely don't need to prove it to Corey Holcomb. I think the fact that you're here trying to plead your case, it does maybe suggest that there is some insecurity there, I'm gonna say. Man to man, because everybody else that talks about it is probably a chatty patty, right? Not somebody who actually listened to you for years and actually supported you in a big way. But nah, that doesn't matter. The message has changed. The message has changed along with the intent on the targeted audience that you want to follow. Because a lot of this stuff, let's not get it twisted. A lot of these folks are just marketers. And we have to be honest about that fact. They need to be honest about it too. Because Boyce Watkins has many times been an impediment to people that were actually trying to make a difference. If that is a problem, if that is your mission, if your mission is just to be you're a finance professor and you want to make money now in the private sector, well then go ahead and do that. Leave us alone. And then, leave black women alone too. They don't need your help on divesting. You want more black women to leave the community because of what? Because you already got your wife? Oh, I got it. You got yours, I got mines to get. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, see, it's a very selfish mentality. So I don't know what BOYCE is really trying to do here, but I know he don't want another week of Corey Holcomb roasting him. Anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to watch more, watch this suggested video right here. This is Faucette Media.